Michael, normally in a week when you've had 3 games in 8 days, 5 points when you've got 2 away matches would be a great return. How does it feel when you find you're not quite as high up the league as you were before you had those games?
Yeah, look, I think there's always an element of that. I think the nature of, if we'd come into the week, we would have been delighted with obviously 7 points. I think that was our target. Obviously, 9 would have been wonderful. But I think the important thing is we put the disappointment behind us quite quickly. Not the disappointment in terms of the actual result, but the nature of the result and how it occurred is you're always a wee bit concerned with that. But the players have been great this week. Yeah, we are disappointed that that the 5 points hasn't maybe changed our position that much. But as I've said all along, we're not really in control of that. We've tried not to focus on where we are in the league or what anyone else is doing. Our focus has purely been on how do we get points. We've 10 games left. I think 5 home, 5 away. Our home form's good. We've emphasised that to the players. Our form overall since November has been relatively good. So that's what we need to carry on over the next 10 games, and we have to make sure that we get the required number of points, whatever that may be. Everyone talks about the magical 50 points barrier, which is arguably 4 wins out of 10 will take us over that. But equally, we want to just maintain our level of form. We think we'll have a good opportunity tomorrow against a team that's having a difficult period. And as I say, we have to not get too involved in everything else that's going around the situation and focus just on the game and the next game that comes along, and that's the way we've approached it this week.
Hull beat us earlier on in the season. They've sold a couple of players. In their last away games, Wilkes has scored a couple of goals. Presumably you'll have done all your research on them, but how important is this match? We say every week it's another important week, but given that people like Sam Vokes has said that we're playing the teams around us, how important do you see tomorrow?
I think the next 4 games in particular we're playing teams around us, so it is very significant. I don't really like to sort of say it's is it any more important than the Luton game? Is it any more important because we draw the game as opposed to winning it? I think that as I say, we have an opportunity when we get the chance to play someone who at 3 points will take us above them, is a situation which I think we have to consider that and try and, as I say, pick away at getting up the table, consistently trying to get up the table. And what we want to do is maintain an unbeaten run and continue with that. But equally, we need to win games as well. We as I say, I think over the piece in the 10 home games here, I think our home form is possibly 3rd in the division, so that's a positive for us. So we can't dwell too much on the fact that the opposition, other than tactically, because equally they could win their last 9 games, and we're not in control of that. So as I say, the focus has purely been on how we'll approach the game. We look back at the earlier game where I felt we were poor in that game. Possibly that was maybe the game that I had most disappointment from in my time here. Having gone ahead in the game, we were poor in the second half in particular, and so as I say, I think we're a different team from that team that played early in December. Personnel wise, shape of the team, and obviously continued work with the team as well, and our focus is purely on the 3 points, and if that obviously lifts us up the table, then we'll be delighted.
How are we injury wise with the games from the last week?
Pretty good, to be honest. Training numbers have been high. Ryan's back in, trained all week. James still not back with us. Stephen Ward back training as well. So our numbers have been good actually, which has been a positive, because as I say, in the running in the 10 games, and we come into a busy Easter period as well, we're going to need bodies, and we're going to need freshness. And one we have a doubt over Jordan Cousins, who picked up a nasty cut in the game at Luton. So he's our only doubt, other than James that's out, and obviously the longer term ones in terms of Tigo. But as I say, training's been good. Good to have Ryan back. Trained very well. We're mindful obviously of when it'll be the right time to reintroduce him, but it's just he's been a real positive to have him back in the training pitch.
When you look back at last week's games, it must be very frustrating for you. I'm sure it's happened wherever you've managed, when supporters know better who you should have played and why we didn't get the 3 points. There were a lot of fans feeling that we went too defensive in the second half and were questioning your substitutions. With that in mind, do you think you might play a more positive team tomorrow?
I think, we have to be mindful of the situation, the fact that in the game, I thought first half we were very good in the game, we should have been more than one ahead. Second half, we're playing away from home against a team who had very little to lose, whilst they had more possession. I don't think they created that many opportunities. We looked in the scenario of where players are physically as well. We had to look at the scenario, obviously, that Luton had played 2 home games in midweek. We had played 2 away games and had to travel. All of those are factor in terms of the freshness of the team. We freshened the team up with three new starting players. Yeah, I suppose when you lose a goal in the last minute, you can reflect on the fact that the substitutions, but equally if it had won the game 1-0, the substitutions would all have been correct, and ultimately it's the decision of the referee which influences that. So no, I think we picked the right team. I think we continually did that. Young Nathan came in against Blackburn and did well. There were some things in his play that we've been through with him in areas. James came back in. His experience, I think, was very unfortunate in terms of the referee giving the penalty and in terms of the challenge that he makes. So, look, we have, our focus is always to try and win the game. I think we had chances in the second half as well. What we didn't do well enough was probably, we were a little bit wasteful in opportunities in counter-attack, and I think you have to be realistic and expect that the opposition at home are going to have some portion of the game, and for me it was almost like a perfect away performance. It would have been our third clean sheet in a week, but ultimately, as I say, the referee took that out of our hands.
You won't be the first manager that's worried about the fact we don't have clinical strikers or we don't finish teams off at Stoke. Does that bring an additional pressure for you? For tomorrow, for example, if Hull take the lead, it's going to be a very sort of stressful time for everybody in the stands. Will that, you think, worry the players too?
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully, what we want is that the stress levels remain somewhat realistic as well. It's stressful enough, so it is. So yeah, look, I think I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I think that okay, at this moment in time, we don't have a striker in double figures in the league. There's probably a lot of clubs in the same position as us. It would be nice to have someone. I think we've got a brilliant young striker in Tyrese. I think Sam. I was pleased with how Sam played last week, and not only with the goal but his overall contribution. And sometimes it's hard with forward players when maybe they're not consistently playing to get that that run of goal scoring form. Where we have been quite good is where we've got goals from other areas of the team as well. So look, where we have to, as I've said all along, we need, when we play at home, to create as much as a positive environment as possible, and that's for the team playing, from the coaches and the manager in terms of the preparation of the team, from the supporters. The way support are magnificent, and our the home support. Some of the games we've had here when the team's on the front foot playing, but we have to possibly be not show our anxiety if for argument's sake the opposition score or take the lead, or for example have a portion of play in the game. That's inevitable in the situation. So but what we need tomorrow is that high energy performance on the front foot. That's been the message to the players all week. I think the fact that they've had a full week again, the recovery's good, and the training's been excellent, and as I say, when I look at them, I'm confident that we get the performance we want, and hopefully obviously the result we want as well.
Everybody's thinking that it might go to the last match at Nottingham Forest. We're hoping not, obviously. I don't think anybody would want it to go to that for us. But how difficult and how important do you see the month with the home fixtures we've got, and we're playing sides around us? Do you think March is the month where we can maybe get out of this?
Well, I think there's an opportunity to do that. You're rightly, particularly with the next 4 games. the danger of looking too far ahead in this league is that, you know, results that you don't expect, it's very difficult to pick. So where you think teams may or may not get points. So yeah, like we've got an opportunity, 2 home, 2 away before the international break. I believe they're all games that we're capable of winning. But I've not really gone into any game since I came here and felt that we couldn't win it, to be honest. So, you know, there will be many different results, and results that people possibly don't expect teams to get. Equally, teams, you know, there's teams in bad runs of form that are doing everything possibly to get out of that. There are teams on good runs of form that are probably thinking, when is this going to end? You know, and that's what you can't get drawn into. For us, the focus, as I've said all along, is about ourselves. I always say to the players that, you know, the one thing we are in control of is the level of performance. Sometimes you're not always in control of the result because of possibly what happens in the game and the opposition, or decisions go for or against you. But what we are is in terms of, you know, preparation of the team, level of performance, and you know, I want to maintain the level of performance, but I equally increase it as well. I still think there's more in the team. They're playing in difficult circumstances given the situation, but you know, as I say, I believe we've got the right characters and the right mentality to win games in this type of situation.
You just touched on that. I mean, sport at the highest level is as much a test of your mental strength as it is of your technique, and it's also probably easier to rectify things that go wrong than improve things that you're good at. So you've had plenty to work on, haven't you, in terms of problems since you came here?
Yeah, like it's been a very full-on job, full-on situation. It's I've enjoyed the challenge of it. I knew what I walked into. The great thing for me is that, like, you know, we've never had a lack of, you know, I could never say at these players in any training session or any game that we've had like a lack of effort. You know, at times we've been disappointed with quality. I think sometimes that's down to the situation in the club, and because my expectation of the players is high, because I think we have a lot of good players in the building. But in terms of application and effort, you know, even when results have gone against us, I don't think we've been able to ever come in and say they didn't give us everything they had, and that's all we can ask. You know, what we do hope to see in the remaining 10 games is that, you know, even increase the level of the quality. I think we've shown that in large portions of games, and what we need to do is continue that and equally add to that, and hopefully, as I say, that translates into the results we need.
Finally, from me, on Monday you've got your first Meet the Season ticket holders evening, along with the Vice Chair and the Chief Executive. Have you got a tin hat ready in case we lose tomorrow?
No, I haven't. At the end of the day, when you're with the manager, you have to accept that, you know, fans they have their opinions, and that's a big part of football. I'll answer any questions that come my way in as direct and honest a way as possible. I think people who have got to know me in the period I've been in here, I try to do that in all cases. So look, I'm not going to try and lead fans a merry dance and say that we're doing amazingly well. I'm equally not going to say that we're doing terribly. You know, we inherit a difficult situation. I think we've made it better, and the focus between now and the end of the season is to continue that.
Thank you.
You talked about the changes that you've had to make, enforced changes to the side. One thing that Stoke fans have certainly noticed, that since you've taken over, the starting 11 and the squad has certainly been a lot more stable, except probably in the 2 central defender positions, where you seem to have interchanged about 5 or 6 different players. Is there a reason for that? Is it been mainly to do with injuries, or I was going to say horses for courses, but not saying that?
No, mainly it's been injuries. Ideally, you know, I felt when we took Bruno out central defence, I think he was struggling in there, to be honest, and he's looked more comfortable playing at left back. Ryan obviously has come back in and gone out of the team because of injury, so we've not been able to get any type of consistency out of Ryan. Nathan's a very young player. I think we have to be realistic, because, you know, if you look around the teams in the Championship and the Premier League, there's not many 18-year-old centre backs playing on a regular basis, so we have to be mindful of that, where he is in his development. And you know, we brought James Chester in because we felt he needed his experience and everything. We knew we had a player who had come back from having not played a lot of football in the last 12 months, so he has to be managed in a 3-game week. And you know, Liam Lindsay went out of the team after the Derby game. I didn't think it was one of his better games, but overall, you know, I've been pleased with Liam. And then he picked up an injury in training. So, but you know, we need competition. You know, we have 5 centre backs. If you look at Bruno in terms of being a left back in the current situation, but equally we have injuries within them. So, but no, I would look at going forward. I would be looking to try and stabilise and have a consistent pairing at centre back. And you know, as I say, whether that's in the next 10 games or certainly going forward into the start of next season, that has to be our objective.
Thank you.
Okay.